This evening we're with Paul Sereno from the University of Chicago and the National Geographic Society. We have a few questions for you this evening. So what have you found as far as the crocodile-like animals that hunted dinosaurs? Like what size dinosaur would they hunt?
Right. Well, it depends. I think that Super Croc was a slow on land but efficient in water, huge monster 40-foot croc that would have been able to drag in any dinosaur of its day. There were many dinosaurs at that time. We've uncovered many of them. One of them was the long neck kind of dinosaur, sauropod we call them. Nigersaurus was the most common. This was a long neck dinosaur, but not any bigger than an Indian elephant in weight probably, and a little bit smaller in trunk length, but it's got a longer neck and tail. I don't think Super Croc would have had a problem.
Wow.
Crocodiles can drag in, you see these films of them dragging in wildebeest and stuff like that. They can drag in pretty big animals, and once they get their jaws on a leg or whatever, and it's you against a crocodile in water, forget it, there's no challenge. You know,
they start spinning and rip off chunks.
Pulls you under, the animal drowns usually within a minute, and then it's lunchtime.
Great. So give us a sense of how many varieties of these new fossils
I would say that the public has a particular interest in carnage, and so they tend to concentrate on the violence of the predators. But quietly, we've announced some 3-foot crocodiles that are grub eaters. A 3-foot crocodile that appears to be mostly concentrating on salad, plants, dog.
Really?
Yeah, and so from the teeth, they're iguana-like teeth, and so I think that there's quite a variety. What we announced was a swath right across from dagger-shaped boar croc. We announced Super Croc before. Dagger-shaped boar croc all the way to rat croc, an animal that has buck teeth for grabbing up tubers. So I think that there's quite a swath of ecology and that was purposefully why we did it. And we have a few more, but this was a nice spread.
Started this project in the year 2000, but you started only finding fossils in 2003. Is that correct, or am I totally off base?
I actually went to Africa the first time in 1993, leading an expedition. We found a croc that year. Haven't described it yet. We've worked on the dinosaurs. We're slowly working. Some of these things they take years. Some get slotted in front of others. Then I went back in 97, 2000, 2003. Then I found a human site, archaeology site, so I went back in 2005, 2006 to dig up that thing. We're still not through with that. So it's a long process, about 100 tons of material. What South Africa has is the early part of the dinosaur era, the Jurassic, the Triassic, better than any other part of Africa. It also has a human story that dates back to 1 million years and less, 500,000. That's the corner of the world. A couple of our dinosaurs that we dug up in Africa are in the Ezekiel Museum.
Wow.
Including a dinosaur that, would have seen duck croc and dog croc, and Super Croc is there, the skull is. The Spinosaur, Suchomimus, is mounted in that hall. That's what the Super Croc would have probably squared off or does so in the film. And then, and what Niger has, and Morocco to some extent, but Niger especially, it has the Cretaceous period, the last period, better than anywhere else on the continent, including South Africa. They have Africa's Cretaceous story, and it is a dino-croc story.
Wow.
And what we're doing is we're filling in the crocodile side of things.
Wow. So speaking of the duck-billed crocoduck, whatever, it has a duck-like bill snout. Is there any other qualities that would lend it to the avian family, or is that just a name, a placeholder name?
No, I called it duck croc because the most characteristic. If I really wanted to be sort of rash as a scientist, I would have called it Pinocchio croc because of its nose. I mean, it's just got this unbelievable nose that sticks forward. The nosiest crocodile on the planet. In fact, the other really characteristic thing about the thing is that it's got this big overhanging, broad snout. That is grossly shaped like a duck. It sort of overhangs the lower jaw. That's why I called it duck croc.
Okay.
Unlike a duck, it has teeth, although some ducks actually have this keratin that mimics teeth. Duck croc actually has little hook-shaped teeth. and I think it was eating small fish, tadpoles, worms. It was grubbing around. It had this truffle-finding nose. I mean, it must have smelled its prey out. It must have been going into soft vegetation, maybe in the water, maybe up on land. It had digging claws. So I think it was on the beach, scratching around for things, sticking its nose in soft sediment, munching down. That's what I think it was doing.
Now, I got to do this to you, and it's been said by Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron, I'm sure you might be familiar with them, that in order for evolution to be true, then there must be a crocoduck at some point in our history.
There must be what?
There must be a crocoduck, and what they did is they put a head of a crocodile on the body of a duck. To say that, in order for evolution to be true, this must have happened at some point. It's a highly irrational and stupid argument, but I like to entertain these kind of things. Is there a way we could make a replica of this duck croc and send it to them to put this creationist crap to bed once and for all?
Well, I think that there's a real nice graphite drawing up on Project Exploration's website, projectexploration.org, that you can download. You can download a picture of the flesh reconstruction of the head of duck croc.
Yeah, I think I actually saw that in doing my research for this. Yeah. Okay, so your documentary is When Crocs Ate Dinosaurs, and it airs November 21st, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the National Geographic Channel. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And real quickly, I find you a very fascinating scientist, and I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for us. Tell us a little bit about your foundation, the Project Exploration, and where people can donate or support that.
Yeah, people can donate directly online by going to, you can type Paul Sereno if you want in. You'll find my website, which is linked to the Project Exploration website. Otherwise, you can go to projectexploration.org. I haven't checked it out, but I believe you can type dog croc and it'll take you there. In any case, at Project Exploration, what we're doing, and we're at a very exciting time, what we're doing is trying to reach out to the vast majority of our city kids who never imagined themselves as a scientist. Now, what I do, I'm pretty interested in. And what I do, I have fun. And I create things, I discover things, I can't wait till the next day. Sometimes, in the case of this thing, this croc project, I've worked onto my third day without sleep. That's how dedicated I am to it.
Wow.
A lot of these kids don't know what scientists do. And the critical thing is they can't imagine themselves as scientists. And also a lot of kids don't know that I, Paul Sereno, was at one point a flunky, was at one point reading the dictionary to get into college, went to college as an art student, got my grades in order, visited a museum, and my career was in front of me. Now,
wow.
Why can't you go and do that? And so the problem with us today is that we're facing a century with challenges, many of which are scientific in nature, a warming planet, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And we need the next generation, and we're losing the next generation.
Yes,
1 out of 2 don't graduate high school.
Yeah.
And so, we're dedicated, and even our good old friend Barack Obama is dedicated to trying to do something about it instead of trying to channel people into the ways, we're going to be a service and technology economy, and we got some really big problems to solve. We need everybody on deck. That's what Project Exploration is devoted to. That's why when you go to the site there, you'll find the people who help sculpt these sculptings. You'll find stories about them, pictures of them, showing them doing the work. You'll find the people who clean the bones. There was a cast of characters involved in making this croc world available. And there's lots of jobs like these available, and that's why we put it up on the website. So that's Project Exploration. We would love your contribution. All the models, when they go on display. Oh, also, I wanted to say, in Chicago, if you're near Chicago, at Northwestern, and you'll find information on Project Exploration about this. We're going to preview the film. I will be there. I'll bring some fossils. We'll answer anybody's questions. Somebody wants to see duck croc up in the reel?
Wow.
And it's on Northwestern's campus. You'll find the address, the day, the time. It's in about a week. It's in early December, and December 4th, I think, weekend.
Okay.
And we'll have some fun.
All right, and as always, folks, I'll put links up in the sidebar so you can have this information and link to it. And I also found another website, the projectexploration.org/donate, and you can donate support there, and please do early and often. Tis the season.
Yes.
And as my audience is a group of atheists and free thinkers, we have no one else to give presents, Christmas presents to, so get out there and give it to Project Exploration.
Thanks so much.
You bet. Thank you for your time again, Paul Sereno.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.